How the hell are we doing out there, y'all? Welcome to Talks with TVBOO. Welcome this week's episode of the podcast, y'all. I'm having the best day because it's not every day I get to talk to a fucking legend. Okay? My guest today has thrown some of the biggest music festivals, the biggest events, dopest events ever. Period. Straight up. My guest today was trying to be humble, okay? He's like, oh, if I didn't do it, someone else would do it. Bullshit, okay? My guest today is somebody that gets shit done. My guest today is somebody that has shaped the dance music culture, the rave culture. He has helped shape it into what it is today. You know, I don't even want to know what this place, what this music industry would look like without this fella. My guest today is somebody that inspired my mentors, who that inspiration rubbed off onto me, and now I can rub it all off onto y'all. I'm just trying to rub everybody off with inspiration, you know what I'm saying? Just trying to fucking stroke inspiration, you feel me? My guest today is somebody who I've wanted on the podcast since I've started doing podcasts. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Motherfucking Disco Donnie, y'all! Mr. Donnie, man, can I just say before we get started, dude, I had a list of industry people. It was like a bucket list, you know, of industry people I wanted on the podcast. You were number one, all right? And
shit.
I'm not just jerking you off when I say that. Like, straight up, you was number one on that list, man. And so I just want to start off the show by saying, man, I appreciate you coming and talking with me, coming on the show. It means a lot. You're a fucking legend, and I'm excited about this.
Well, cheers to that.
Hey, cheers,
I
man.
appreciate it. Cheers. Legend means old, but I'll take it. I'll take whatever I can get these days.
Listen, dude, you don't look a day over 29, okay? You know.
Thank you so much.
I'll give you a good 29.
That's the age of my girlfriend, so we're good.
Hey, look at you then, fucking rocking and rolling.
Don't tell my wife, though. She's fucking,
Don't tell my wife, as you say it on the podcast. That's amazing. Oh, man.
Yeah.
How are you doing today, man?
Good. You know, it's every day is a journey, so just trying to get shit done. You know, things are coming up fast, and we're behind, and just trying to work through everything and try to keep everybody safe and try to make this show happen.
Yeah. Well, you are a man that makes shit get done. You know what I mean? Whether it's in the 90s, late 90s, or now. I'm curious, is there a fucking guy out there that wants to keep the dance floor alive more than you? You know what I mean? That's I've been doing my research on you, Mr. Disco Donnie. And that was my thing I kept on coming back to. I don't think there's a man out there that wants to keep the party alive, respectfully. Like I love it.
There's a lot of people. There's a lot of people that came before me, and much respect to all of them. Luckily, I was introduced to the scene, and you know, and other people had started it, and I'm so appreciative of that. And that, you know, my whole goal has just been to expose as many people to it as possible, and that's just what and I still love it, and I continue to enjoy doing it. I don't have to do it, but I have to do it. I don't know if that makes sense, but I was like, I'm compelled. It's like somehow this is what I was made to do.
Yeah. Whenever I was doing, you know, because I like to do a little research on some guests that I'm super excited about, and that was something that I came up to whenever I was reading about you. I was like, this is just his jam. You know what I mean? Like, this is literally his shit. There's been many a times where it was like, you know, you could have easily stepped away, but it's like, no, this is just who you are, and for that I have the utmost respect for you.
I appreciate it. Thank you,
man. Just so you know, you're the first man throwing this festival back from COVID, ubby dubby, and can I just say I am ecstatic about it, dude. I've been looking forward to it. You know, I've been having trouble sleeping at night just thinking about it. You know, I start to think about all the great experiences I've had, like doing festivals or just being at them. I'm like, man, I can't believe it's insane how much I miss it.
Yeah. No, I mean, yeah, I'm having trouble sleeping as well, which might come as a surprise to people. I'm waking up with nightmares like 4 a.m., dry heaving, just how I'm going to get through this day. And I didn't take this decision lightly. I know, I make a lot of jokes online and stuff like that, but, it's a big decision. It's an important decision. And I just, I think the time is right. It's like, you can talk about anything else, but, what I'm really going on, we need this. Like, I need this, for mental health. We just have to, we have to like get back to normal life. I mean, safely, as safe as possible, but, we've been stuck inside so long, and people are just so beaten down and stuff. And, we just need to get going, especially if like a state like Texas, where the numbers where they've been open for over, yesterday was like a month since they did the 100% and the mask mandate, and their numbers keep going down. So it's like, this is an outdoor show, and, I just, I have the opportunity to do it. It was already set up. I got the go ahead. And so somebody's got to do it. It's not going to be easy. It's killing me. But yeah, I can do it.
Yeah.
It's just painful for me.
Well, let me just go ahead and say, not only as an artist, but a man that appreciates the culture and the experience. You know what I mean? I appreciate you and what you're doing. I know it ain't easy. And I know I see you on Twitter, making some jokes, and I love that shit, man. I'm all for talking a lot of shit on the EDM Twitter, but I can go ahead and tell you that ain't the majority of people's opinions, man. I feel like for the most part, everyone's like, yeah, let's get back to life, dude. Like you said, it's good for not only for your mental health, dude, but it's actually good for your physical health, because when you're out there talking with people, dancing, laughing, like I've always said, the two best things on this world are dancing and laughing. And if you could do either one of those with friends outside, dude, you're going to live a happier life. You're going to feel better. You're going to, you might even call your damn sister that you don't talk to and just say, hey, I love you. Who knows?
Yeah, she just texted me actually. But the thing is, I've been in this a long time, and the whole scene's about having fun, like you said. And some people just take it too serious. And that's not even like, on Twitter, like that's not even like my personality. I'm just playing like some kind of role. I mean, of course, if I'm with my friends and I'm just talking shit to them, it's kind of like how I do it on Twitter. I'm not trying to like give some kind of staple answers or answers that people like the correct answers. I'm just talking shit. They're talking shit to me. I'm going to talk shit back.
It's the best.
It's like, right. So it's just like, and I've been through all this before, when I was this is like, I'm going to date myself here. But when I first started doing shows, the internet was a baby. And people used to send me hate mail, like through the mail. And so I had to read a fucking letter about people talking shit about me. And I was a little kid. So, it fucking hurt me. And it was like, but it also made me, because I took that shit. I mean, of course I want to get people's feedback and everything and change and make things better. But I took all the negative stuff. Like there was then they had listserv, and with people on the emails, and they had message boards and stuff. And so I just took that and I used it as a kind of, I just used it to push me forward, to drive me. Right. I mean, without those people talking shit, I might not have ever been in this position I am right now. But when everybody was sleeping past noon, I was getting up and working and getting shit done, because I'm like, I'm going to prove these motherfuckers wrong.
Hell yeah.
And, that's what I kind of try to do every day. So now for me, it's a game when people are talking, people can say whatever they want. I read it. I fuck up. When I fuck up, I admit it. There's not a perfect show. This show won't be perfect. It's coming up. There's going to be, people are going to be waiting in line to fucking dunk on me. So I'm ready. And if I fuck up, I'll be there. I'll be the first one to say I fucked up. I'm gonna do it better next time. And that's all I can do. There's just nothing you can. It's just a crazy business that there's no way that you can get everything right. And so I know that I'm ready. I'm used to it. I can take it. I feel bad for young artists that get shit on all the time because I know how it felt for me as a kid. So if I see that online or something like that, I will, I'll fight for that person.
Yeah, man. I feel you, bro. I can take it too, bro. I ain't scared of these fucking haters, man.
It's hard. It's hard, man. I mean, everybody's human, and there is a part of me that I mean, I have kids, right? I have a 19-year-old, and he's 4.0 college scholarship, but he don't know shit. Like he doesn't, he's I've been there. I was 19. I know. But now these people can just go, and if they come up with some stupid question, they can just go, imagine I used to go to Lollapalooza in the 90s, and Perry Farrell was the promoter, and we just bought a ticket, and we saw what time it opened, and we saw who was playing, and we just went.
Yeah.
There was no place where we could say, hey, can I bring in my service unicorn?
Yeah.
I can't go anywhere without it. So, now it's just like a different game. Like we just went and had a good time and partied our asses off, and then we went home. And if we didn't like the show or something, there was nowhere for us to say, fuck that, or we could just talk amongst ourselves. Now it's, people can get directly to the promoter, and just any question that pops into my head, do you guys have toilet paper? It's like, well, it's just a crazy world that we live in. So I like answering people and giving them I think it's better than like what it was before, but it's definitely really complicated.
Yeah,
a lot of questions they ask, I don't even fucking know the answers. I have to go ask somebody to work with, ask them like, hey, can they bring in a unicorn? So
yeah, is it cool if I bring in my support Python? You know what I mean? Like, is there a wheelchair ramp for my grandma? She needs her own. You know what I'm saying? Like some crazy shit like that.
One question, and then there's like 10 more to come. From now you're like, I got this guy. Okay, I'm communicating. That's like, my friend has a question too, and my mom has a question. And it's like, okay, well, I'm trying here. I'm only one person.
Yeah. Hey, I'm allergic to water. Is there going to be a Coke filling station like Coca-Cola?
Get it. I understand, right? It's just like, just sometimes you just got to go with the flow, man. You just don't know you don't need to know all the answers. And everybody's very impatient, and I'm trying the best I can.
Hell yeah, dude. Well, I think you're doing a great job, man. I feel like a lot of these people who even just talk a little bit of shit to you online, they don't even realize, like, they don't know you. You know what I'm saying? They don't know what you've done for the electronic community. Like, so I grew up in Jackson, Mississippi. I live in New Orleans now. So I've heard all the stories about the State Palace. I had some DJ buddies out in New Orleans, in Jackson. I don't know if you remember him, DJ Tam.
Yeah, I know.
Tam was a mentor to me whenever I was a young DJ. So, I heard all the great stories about you and about how you were a guy that pretty much fought for our rights to, party, to dance.
Yeah. Well, those New Orleans days, that's a long time ago. But, luckily, I was lucky enough to grow up in New Orleans and be able to do shows there because it was just like a whole different vibe there. And it just was, it was mayhem everywhere, and people would travel from all over. And this is like in the 90s. And of course we had some legal issues with the federal government, which was, it's unfortunate, but luckily they picked the wrong guy. They came after me, and I wasn't selling drugs, or I wasn't doing anything illegal. So there was other people out there that they could have gone and got, and that might have taken down the whole scene. But they just came after me, and they followed me the DA followed me for 8 months under surveillance. And I was probably doing all kinds of bad shit, but they never got any of it on tape. So, when
So fuck the police, you know what I'm saying?
no, they were doing their job. I mean, this is like 20 something years ago. I wasn't even mad at them. It was like a little kids out of like they were as young as me. They had just gotten out of the DEA school, and they were like, "Oh, look at this! This is crazy. People are naked girls everywhere," and they didn't know what they were looking at. And so, I mean, remember, this is before bucket, porno. Yeah, this is before like marijuana was legalized in a lot of states. This is before gay marriage. I mean, just imagine how much we've moved in the last 20 years. And it was scary. They were threatening me with they charged me with the crack house law, and they were threatening me with like 0 to 20 on all. They had gone to 8 shows, and they were going to charge me with all the drugs they had bought from people in there. So that was like about 18 years. And then they were going to charge me with a CCE, continuing criminal enterprises, which they use for the mafia. So basically they were saying I was doing something illegal multiple times, and that was 20 to life. So, and I was just, my girlfriend was pregnant. I mean, and they were offering me 1 year. And it was tough, and I was young, and I didn't really, it's just so like my lawyer's saying, oh, look, you just go play in the yard. You go to this jail, and you can play basketball, and, you can go in the yard. I'm like, oh, that doesn't sound so bad. I said, but I didn't do anything wrong. So, eventually when they did their big press conference, and that was like the big aha moment where they were going to show that how all the bad stuff we had done, the public's opinion was a lot different than what they thought and what I actually thought it might go as well, right? So public opinion was like, that's bullshit. That is real bullshit. And the ACLU got involved, and I was able to. I said, I'm not gonna do a deal with you guys. And of course, they told me on the way out the door, they were like, well, we're gonna get you eventually, and they probably will, but not today.
Not today, dude. Today ain't their fucking day. They picked with the wrong motherfucker, dude. What you drinking on, man? By the way, I'm just curious because you said you did the podcast as long as I had a beer with you. Oh hell yeah.
Yeah.
I saw.
Which I shouldn't have done because I got my vaccination today, my first shot.
Yeah. So how's 5G like with the vaccine? You just got a vaccine, so you have 5G now. How's that?
My face is kind of swollen, and I'm like, then I Googled, can you drink alcohol after your shot? And they said, don't do it. So I'm like, fuck it. You only live once. But I'm feeling woozy. So if I just pass out, the vaccine didn't kill me, guys. It was the beer.
It was the podcasting. Okay. It was the questions on the show. Yeah, man. So you've been having to move dates around. This is, correct me if I'm wrong, but is this the most time you've taken off throwing events since you started throwing events?
Yeah, I mean, even when I was under federal indictment, I immediately kept trying to do events. They were shutting them down, and then ended up doing a weekly at House of Blues right away, and they were super pissed. But I'm like, hey, if I'm doing something illegal, come in here and shut me down. So this is like the longest time I've gone without doing events or going to events. And it's definitely been challenging.
Weird.
We had to pull down all the events, reschedule them, cancel them again. I mean, it's just nobody ever told us when there's going to be a start date. They just kept on saying, oh, just a little bit more, and so we're just there's no constant to this except that just a little bit more time and we'll be okay. So it's like kind of like we've been doing the work, but we haven't been doing the shows. And we did like 20 something drive-ins, and those were like super complicated, and they weren't financially rewarding because people don't have jobs. I'm trying to keep the ticket prices low. So it was just, it just was a it was a lot of work. People were pissed. There's like 22,000 people in a venue that holds 80,000 people at 7 square foot of people, and people are like, I'm too close to this other person. I'm like, well, just take 2 steps over.
Yeah, just,
Jesus fucking Christ.
If I can do the cha-cha slide. You know what I mean?
When I'm in the store, when I'm in the grocery store, and if somebody comes up in my space and I don't want them to be there, I just take 2 steps. I don't email the owner of the grocery store.
True. So, very true.
Yeah, I can't help you. Let me help you. You're in a space that holds 80,000 people. There's 2,000 people there. There's space.
Mm-hmm.
Where do you live?
I'm in New Orleans. Actually, Metairie. You know what I'm saying? So you grew up in the area, so you know the ins and outs of the place. I'm in Metairie. I've been here for about 4 years. Came here from Jackson because, like you said, the culture and everything just, it was just kind of like, oh, wow. And then also they had an electronic scene. I was throwing shows. I threw shows in Jackson for like 2 years. Oh, yeah, because there weren't shows. If I wanted to play a show or go to a party, I had to throw it. So
I did shows in Jackson with Tam.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, New Orleans is fucking. I never thought I would leave there, and then started dating this Puerto Rican girl, and I was like, oh fuck. I'm like,
oh fuck.
I don't think this is gonna work because I'm gonna probably end up living in Puerto Rico, and now I live in Puerto Rico. So, foreshadowing. I would never leave New Orleans. I love that place. Luckily, my son is going to college there, so I get to. My mom's still there. I grew up on the West Bank, so
nice.
My mom lives in Canada, brah.
Oh hell yeah, dude! I was looking at some places out there. Your son at Tulane, or where he at?
Yeah, he's at Tulane. He's way smarter than me.
I did a was it like I guess it was a seminar. I guess I went and spoke in front of like 300 students, and I didn't go to college. I just did fucking music. So they got me to come speak, and I'm like, listen, y'all. I got people. I was like, who in here wants to do music full time? They all would raise their hand, and I was like, y'all should just leave school and just go out there and do it. It's like that was my advice to a classroom full of people who were paying a lot of money to be there.
Wasting your time here. Just you don't need to do this. I spoke at the Tulane Law School. The guy asked me, and it was about the crack house thing, and it was weird because the place was full, but I don't think anybody was actually there to see me. They just had free food, and so everybody was eating, the whole time, and I was like, okay, this is probably not a good look, but I did it.
I wish they would have had some food for me, dude. They just had me with a couple rappers, and then like behind the classroom, there was a camera who came up, and they were going to give these rappers a card to freestyle about it would say a topic on the card, and they would freestyle about the topic. And it was 4 rappers, and not a single rapper would do it. And I was like, y'all are fucking pussies. And I grabbed the card and started freestyling. It's like, leave it to the fucking dubstep guy, who knows?
Good, step up.
Yeah, dude. Speaking of stepping up, man, because you like you were saying right before we had to stop the Zoom and rejoin it, you were talking about the drive-ins, man. How fucking weird were those to put together? Because before this, you weren't doing any drive-ins or anything like that. Like, it's such a weird, I won't say new concept, but for music, I feel like it's a new concept.
Yeah, I mean, actually, they were kind of fun to do. It was just. The timing was so weird, and it was kind of like a mini festival, and the venues were pretty amazing venues. Like, it could be a venue where you could really do something like a real music festival. The problem with us was that we're setting up a drive-in, and they open up the bars, so it's like you can't if the bar down the street's open. It's kind of hard to like, why am I going to go to a drive-in? And then, we have a good one that's like, oh, the bars are closed. Now, it was like I don't know. It was a moving target the whole time. We enjoyed doing them. I mean, I think it was like trying to give people something to do. The people that didn't want to go to the bars. But it just was like, it was a lot of work, and it just wasn't, it wasn't that enjoyable on the back end of it, But the people, I think we were glad they were doing something, and we were keeping the thing going. But yeah, it was a difficult chore.
So when is it enjoyable for you on the back end? You know what I'm saying? Because we've talked a lot about like the stressful shit you got going on right now. But what about the positive stuff? When is the time where you're like, yes, like fucking let's go? Like when is that time for you?
I mean, I like to see people happy and engaged and having a good time, and then like me and my team, which I have a great team. Like it's not just me, right? So I don't do shit. I just talk shit online,
Yeah,
and then but my team is the one that pretty much does everything, and I guide them. But just to see people enjoying the show and looking out over the crowd, and then because I've been in that crowd, I came from the dance floor, and just that I'm the one that, or we're the ones that are creating that happiness for them. You know, I mean, that's when it feels good.
Do you ever get on the dance floor these days? You know, or are you just backstage, just like making sure everything's good?
I used to dance all the time. I was like a dancing fool, and now like I won't even dance at like weddings, or my wife will make me, but
And that Puerto Rican wife, bro, she ain't giving you a choice, dude. You gotta fucking dance.
yeah. So I used to dance like almost. I would go out and just start dancing around in places that were really probably shouldn't have been. There was nobody else dancing. I was like the only one. Mm-hmm. So I was like, oh, I can't believe I found this somebody. I'll never stop dancing. And then I got self-conscious again, and I'm like, okay, I don't want to dance. I don't want to dance.
So for you, you know, to guess to lift the weight, because I know right now throwing these shows right now, it's tough. Like you're the first one back, and thank you for it. You know, as an artist and just a fan of the culture, thank you for that. Are you going to go to Ubby Dubby whenever you see people having a great time, whenever you see them in the crowd doing their fucking thing? Is that going to be kind of like a weight lifted off your shoulders? Or are you still going to have so much going on? Or are you thinking about the next show? Because you're a man who throws events at the highest level. You know what I mean? I've had some of your business partners, Waylon Clark, I had him on the show, and we were talking about throwing shows, throwing events, and the shit that goes on it. And, you know, when does it pay off? But, you know, for Ubby Dubby itself, when does it pay off for you?
That was going to be a tough one because, like, it's never, you know, we had a rainstorm at the first Ubby Dubby, and they had told me that it wasn't gonna hit, and then it hit like 30 minutes for the doors, and they were supposed to have another exit, but it was raining so hard, people, you know, they didn't guide the people to the other exit, and these people were just going over this little bridge, and I'm like, you know, I mean, it's just I didn't go to the after party. I just stayed in my trailer, like crying, puking, like just because it, you know, the show's like part of me. Like we worked on this for like a year, and it hurt me so bad that shit had happened. And so I think at this show, if we can get to the end, I mean, there's going to be complaints. I mean, there's going to be like there's a lot of layers to this show with everything, with COVID and everything we have to do extra. So there's going to be some people that are unhappy with the lines or whatever. So if I can get to the end of the show and it's like without any major incidents, like weather or anything unsafe or something like that, I mean, I'm going to fucking break down and like, it'll be like, it's going to all come out then. Mm-hmm. So but I got to get there first.
Dude, well, listen, whenever you get there, because I believe I have faith, you know what I'm saying? I have the utmost faith. Whenever we get there, I'm going to crack one open in your honor, dude. I'm just going to say that right now.
Yeah, that'll be tears of joy. The tears I'm doing before the show are tears of pain. So it'll be two different, it'll be a different feeling. But I can't imagine like walking on the stage and just seeing all the people and like what's that feeling going to be like? And, you know, it's going to, and hopefully they're all wearing masks. I know some of them won't, but you know, they're going to just wear the fucking mask. Yeah. It's not that hard. You know, you don't want to make us all look bad, you know, wear the fucking mask.
Yeah. Listen, y'all, we're not trying to fucking add more stress to Disco Donnie's life, man. You know what I'm saying? Wear your goddamn mask.
Yeah. pictures, you want to be in the pictures, you better have a mask on. If you don't have a mask on, you ain't gonna get on the website.
Mm-hmm. Straight up, bro.
So just do it.
Yeah,
I'm not violating anything, but
yeah. Yeah, man, that's so. Well, it's crazy, man, because like a lot of people don't realize how much planning and time and money and reputation goes in to throwing a fucking music festival. Okay, so if you had to pick one thing, because you throw the biggest events. You throw the biggest event straight up, bro. Like, pat yourself on the back or just not, or just let me ask you questions. Either way. If you had to pick one thing that was the hardest part about throwing these festivals, one single thing, what would it be?
The hardest part, man, I think it's basically, just, it's the whole thing. I mean, it's like getting there to the just getting there to the end. I mean, the weather issue is like, I think the great variable in all this, that you can set something up and do that. And we've had some unfortunate weather. I mean, it's not uncommon around the States if you see what's happening in the last 10 years with extreme weather. Yeah. So we've had some unfortunate circumstances with weather, and you're just like, oh, if we would have done it last week, it would have been sunny, and this week it's hurricane. So it's just, I think that's kind of like these unknown variables that we're going into right now. I'm checking the weather every day. Oh, 11%. I just don't know. You can set up the whole fucking thing, and then it can just go away. Mm-hmm. And it has, and that really hurts. Yeah. Because people invested in their flights and their hotels and their outfits, and it's just like fuck. And we did the whole thing right. We just didn't get to the finish line. So I can think, oh, look at the stage, looks awesome, and you can't come in. Yeah. Because it's a hurricane.
Yeah, so, man. I remember I've been at festivals where it was just a swamp fest. I was at Swamperoosa. I don't know if you heard. I'm sure you heard about that one that year at Wakarusa where it just got crazy. But the party still went on as much as it could. All right, so that was the hardest part about throwing festivals. What's probably the easiest thing you found out of it?
The easiest thing about throwing festivals? There's nothing easy about it. There's nothing easy.
I love that answer, by the way.
So yeah, I don't think everything's a grind. Everything's an issue. Everything's you just, no matter how many festivals. I mean, I've done 100 festivals over like 20, 30,000 people. I mean, there's probably like, I don't know who's done more than me. And, from my times with like Insomniac or whatever. And like, you'll just never fucking know what could happen. I mean, we will never get it 100% right. We'll never have it mastered. That there's so many variables, so many things change so fast. You can't, stuff that's out of your control. Shit's just going to go wrong. And that's why we're there to fix it. And that's why we're still doing this, because we fix it, and then we say, oh, next time we got to do it like this way. And so, people, they might be pissed in that moment, but the next time we're going to do it right. Mm-hmm. So, and that's the only, we're learning, and that keeps it interesting for me, for my team. Every time, we just keep growing. Yeah. But there will never be a perfect festival. Somebody's going to be mad about something. Yeah. There's going to be a lot of people mad about a lot of things. Yeah. So all you can do is like your best. And it's not, I get it. People think it's fucking easy. Yeah. When you shit to me on Twitter, I'm going to be like, what's your fucking job? I'll switch with you for a day, and you tell me I can do your job. I don't know if you can do mine. Or maybe I can't do their job. I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't know.
Okay, they're a surgeon or something. You're like, oh, what have I gotten myself into?
Do that for a day. I'll just call in sick. But my job, you can't call in
sick. I'll just call in sick, bro. Sick surgeon. I can't come into surgery today. That's killer, man. That's killer, man. Yeah, you had mentioned your team, and that's something that I wanted to talk to you about as well. How big of a team does it take to throw these events, and how long did it take for you to get a team that you were happy with, a team that you were like, yo, these are people who like to get shit done? Because you've been throwing shows since the mid-'90s.
Yeah, I mean, I've always had someone. I mean, my main problem was until like 2007, 8, I would try to do everything myself. So I want to do the bookings, I want to do this and that. And I finally realized, like, to grow, like, basically when I started, there was like 2 or 3 agents. And then they all somehow over like the next 10, 15 years, they started all hiring other agents. So it went from 3 agents to like 50 agents, and I was still just one person. So my phone's ringing all the time and stuff. And I finally realized that, I needed help, and I got it. And, we built out a core team. It's still small. It's like 16, 17 people. And then we work with a lot of people at the same time. They like independent contractors and stuff, but we pretty much keep our same crew together. And it just, it just works. I mean, we add people on as needed. I mean, we didn't need anybody this year. So, but I was able to keep my whole team and during COVID, and pay them and to sunbathe, or ride bikes or whatever they were doing. But I'm happy I was able to, make a commitment to them that they would have a job, and I was able to make it all the way to where we are right now.
That's beautiful, man. That's awesome. Yeah, man, I can only imagine the amount of fucking group messages one has to be in to fucking throw a festival, man.
How many what?
How many group messages?
Oh, yeah. No, I mean, I ask them to keep me on all the emails, and so I can keep up with everything. Some of it's not like stuff that I even know or stuff that I care about, but I want to see it all. So it's just it's good that I know everything that's going on, and so if a question arises that I need to jump in on, then I'm up to date on everything. So, and I think they do a lot of. They don't put me in all the emails. I tell them to, but I think they're like, fuck this guy, he's crazy. We're just gonna make our phone.
Have you seen him on Twitter lately?
Yeah, he's drinking beer. It's like 3 in the afternoon.
Yeah, with some dude named TVBOO or something like that.
I don't even know what he's doing. Like, just hope he stays in Puerto Rico. Cancel his flights, his hotels.
Yeah. Well, dude, if you're going down, looks like I'm going down with you on this one.
Okay, fucking picking up. I call them and they don't even pick up my fucking phone calls. I'm like, oh shit, this is bad.
Oh damn.
Yeah, I know, right?
They found out you were doing a podcast with me, and they were like, ignore.
No, yeah, I mean, I'm not talking to anybody right now. So they got, they're chasing CNN, NBC. They're chasing me, but I got my head down here. I'm just talking to the real peoples.
Yeah, man. Listen, I ain't after you, dude. I'm after you to have a real ass conversation with no judgment, dude. Just only love. That's all I got here.
Yeah, we're good. I was scared
for this show. You were scared to come on the podcast today?
No, this is like a so fucking important thing. It's hard. It's not like it's not an easy conversation.
Yeah.
There's gonna be, if you're in Texas, then this is like a no-brainer. But if you're in California, New York, and you've been stuck in your house for a year, it's like, this is you don't get it. They don't understand. I understand why they don't understand, but it's just like, it's like a different world. And it's time for everybody to quit judging other people and what they're doing, and make their own decisions.
Live and let live, brother. That's what I like to say.
Wear your fucking mask, get your vaccine,
wear a condom,
go outside. If you're like condoms, nah, fuck that.
Yeah, let's go.
Oh yeah,
Let's go, Donnie. Let's go. That's amazing. Hell yeah, bro. That's what I've been wondering. I'm like, are people more concerned about condoms or masks these days? Who knows, man?
I don't know. Those are like, those were never my thing. And I'm old now, so it's really not my thing now. That would be like a disaster. It's already like a penis pump. So if you got to put the condom on there, that's gonna be fucking. That's like a 0% chance of happening.
I don't want to do this anymore, man. I'm out. I'm out, bro. I'm moving. I'm moving to goddamn. I'm moving back to America, dude. I'm done with this shit. That's great, man. That's great. Dude, no, but I do think what you were just saying, I do think that's why it's important for you. Well, not like for you, but like I think that's why it's so great that you're coming on the podcast now, because it is such a super stressful time for you. And like I said, you've been a guy I've wanted on the show for the longest time, and the fact that you were like, yeah, we'll do it now, I'm like, let's fucking go. Like, you know what I mean? I'm like, this guy's ready to roll. So like, yeah, that's that's what I mean. I think it's going to be good for those people in California and like New York to hear you talk about a lot of this stuff on the show, because they'll be like, okay, word, you know, maybe it'll change their perspective a little bit or anything like that.
Yeah, I mean, everybody has to go at their own pace. You know, I mean, we were shut down here in Puerto Rico. Like, we could only leave the house for every other day. You know, I'm the dude wearing the mask in the car, fucking wiping down my Apple with probably putting like Clorox on my Apple, probably, killing myself through that.
Yeah.
And I went out. I went to I have a beach house, and I was renting it to somebody. And like, dude, I need to get out of here. I just need to, after 2 months, I was like, can you leave and let, because I'm going to lose my family. I'm yelling at my wife, my kids, my dog, my fish.
Not the fish, bro. Not the fish, bro. Not the fish.
Fish pissed me off. I was like, I got to get out of here. And I went outside, and I saw some people from the neighborhood, and I'm like, oh, this is I'm starting to feel better. It wasn't like so bad. I didn't die. And then we invited other people, and they came over, and they had like gloves and masks on and everything. And we're like, no, take it off. It's, we're outside. It's going to be okay. And so we just started opening up that way. And I just couldn't take it anymore inside. I had to like get out, and there was a risk to that, and being around other people. We try to do it safely as possible, but there was more of a risk to me to like fucking be stuck in my house, drinking 25 bottles of wine every night. I mean, I needed to get out. I needed to get out. And so I just think people need to, if you went to Texas and saw that these people are like going, balls out.
They're living
100. I still am shocked that they don't, the people don't wear the mask, but I mean, it's like, it's just a different, and their numbers are still going down. It's just different there.
It's just living. So, that's how I like to think about it. They just out there living, man.
I get it. I get why people get upset. But at some point we're going to have to move forward. There's not a time where when they came out and said, I'm a science guy, I'm a Fauci fan. Maybe my Twitter doesn't look that way, but I'm down to listen to the CDC and everything. It had become so politicized in the last year, unfortunately, and the top end of it had been gutted by the previous administration. And when the CDC came out and said, if you're vaccinated, it's not safe to travel because you might get it and give it to somebody else. I'm like, oh, fuck this. I'm going to go on my own. I'm striking out on my own. I can't. I mean, I'm vaccinated, and it's still not safe. So, I mean, that's when I started doing the numbers and looking at the vaccinations and where we'd be at the end of April. And that's when I looked at all the data from the outside events that had taken place during this. And that's when I was like, hey, we can do this.
Yeah. Yeah, man, it's weird times. There's only so many times you can jerk off at your house with Germex before you got to jump in a pond. But I had went back home to my folks. I went to church with my mother for Easter this past Sunday, and we picked up my granddad. It was my first time seeing my grandfather in over a year. He's been locked in his retirement home. He's fully vaccinated. We went to church, man, and it was like everything was normal. No one was wearing masks. Like everyone in Mississippi seemed like everyone was vaccinated. I was like, wow, this is so weird, but so happy that we're back here. Eventually, we do have to get back to living. I know it's step by step by step. In Mississippi, I guess that part of the town just took a fucking leap. But you know what I mean? It did feel nice. It felt weird, but it was just like, this is real. This is real. I'm wanting to get back to real, and it's one step at a time. And you're a guy who's out here taking those steps, and so that I appreciate.
You gotta do it. It's not easy, but we gotta move forward. Mm-hmm. And the vaccines are going to be in full-fledged, motion here. I mean, unfortunately, they're going to run out of people to vaccinate, probably by the beginning of May. So, no, that's a whole nother conversation. But, hopefully, that'll downturn these other states that have been on lockdown and are opening up, and then have these case spikes. We just gotta go.
Mm-hmm. Is because you're working on Sunset Music Festival as well. Is the fact that Sunset is 1 month, pretty much almost a whole month after Ubby Dubby, does that whole month make all the difference for the stress level and the preparation that goes into something like that? Because just by a whole, I can't even tell you how many people I know have been vaccinated just in a month. Just about almost every person I know, if I'm being honest.
No, I mean, look, listen, the runway for Abu Dhabi it's tight. And, it's like threading a needle. We're right on that edge. But we can do it legally. Major League Baseball had a full stadium. They're doing a 60,000 person, fight
and
2 weeks after Abu Dhabi. So
the NFL announced, sorry to interrupt you, the NFL announced that they're going to be full stadiums this coming up season. Dude, we beat COVID. Whenever I saw that, I was like, oh, fuck, we beat COVID, dude. NFL's having full arenas. Let's go. Who dat?
We haven't beaten it. But yes, who dat? And then, it's like, it's tight. And Sunset is has a longer runway and will be less controversial. But it will still be controversial because there will still be some people locked up and their houses and they're going to be online and they're going to be angry that other people are out there having fun and living their life. But I mean, look, a lot of there's always pressure with a festival and a show this big, and with so much on the line and so many people. It's not just my money or whatever's money. It's we're all everybody's an investor in this, right? Everybody's invested in this show. They're doing this, so there's a lot on the line for a lot of people. The ticket buyers, the people that work at the show, my whole team. And so there's always going to be a big pressure on a show this large, but to be the first one back and people are going to disagree with it, to be the first one back. And at this time, it adds to the whole stress of the whole thing. And I've been trying, a lot of my Twitter has been basically, I'm just trying to fucking keep the pressure off the artist.
Yeah.
I don't want people to attack the artist, right? Because they booked this 2 years ago. They fucking want to play. Everybody wants to play, but they don't want to have somebody come to them and say, you know what? I used to be your biggest fan, but now that you're playing this show, I don't like you anymore. I mean, for an artist, that's that hurt. These guys are tied in with their fans, right? So, and they're young. A lot of them are young, and it's a big deal. But somebody has to say, listen, you're not going to care about this like 30 days from now or 2 months from now. You're going to be out. You're going to be on the dance floor. You're going to be partying.
Yeah.
You're not going to be like, oh, remember those guys that played at that UBW festival? Fuck them. Because you'll be them. You will be them. You will be doing everything that you will be doing what you want to do. And, there won't be anything to criticize anymore.
Yeah. That's beautiful, man. I like that you're looking out for the artists on a lot of that, man. That's beautiful. I appreciate that.
Hate me, not the artist. It's not their fault. I'm the bad guy. I can take it.
That is damn true. You can take it, and if anyone's gonna be the first person to throw a show back, it's you, dude. Like, I feel like if anyone can make it happen, make it twirl, girl. You the guy.
I'm trying. There's no turning back now.
Yeah, right. We're like, what, 3 weeks out or something?
2.5 weeks. I mean, well, by next week it'll be 1 week. But so, yeah. I mean, the shooter's got to shoot.
Hell yeah, dude. That's awesome. Well, look, man, listen, I know I'm probably on borrowed time here. I only have a few more questions for you, man. I cannot thank you enough for coming on the show again. Dude, so from, as being a guy who started on the dance floor, a guy who just started out just enjoying the sound, enjoying the music, enjoying the vibe, is there any times wherever you're curating a festival lineup or just curating any type of event where, a little bit of selfishness, I don't want to say selfishness, but a little bit of like personal taste comes in where like, hey, let's book this person. Like, do you ever like book those artists onto certain slots just because you're into them a little bit more? Or are you a guy who's just like, you leave that curation to the curators? Or how much influence do you have in those curations? Are you a guy who brings up any suggestions on what the lineups look like, or are you just leaving it to other people?
I'll suggest stuff, but I mean, it's hard to keep up with like the new stuff. But I mean, we're definitely on the top end stuff. It's a conversation that we all have, and then I lean on people a lot because who wants to hear what I want to hear? I always, even when I was booking the shows, I wasn't necessarily booking it for myself, right? That's not, my job is not to play what I like. My job is not to book the DJs that I want to hear. My job is to book the DJs that the people want to hear, right? So there's some people, and I mean, I know a lot of promoters and they only book one style and that's the music they like. And I respect that 100%. Like that guy is like doing that. I didn't get into this I like electronic music. I like all different musics, I mean, I like all the different styles. I mean, I'm like a house and like drum and bass type of guy, but it's like, who wants to, house has gotten some legs now and stuff, but it's like in the last few years. But I mean, if I was doing that, then I wouldn't even be in business.
Yeah.
It's like I never looked at it like, what do I want to hear? I looked at it like, my job is to make people happy, and that's kind of how we book the shows that way. Now, if there's someone that like we like or we get behind, or somebody that is special, or somebody needs help or whatever, we'll put that person on there. But it's definitely not. It's definitely more about the fan experience and not about like what I like.
Got you, man. Yeah, I feel that, man. I mean, absolutely, yeah. I'm sure the music has changed a whole lot, and that was actually a good segue into. I only have 2 more questions for you, man. And like I said, I didn't even write any questions; these are just on my head right here. It is a perfect segue into my next question. Is like, because you've been throwing shows since around when I was born, straight up, straight up like that. The electronic music itself has changed and grown so much in the last 25 years just when you've been throwing shows. What has it been like from your perspective? And has it been like, was there ever a point where like a new genre came up, like whenever dubstep came out, where you're like, what the fuck is this? Like, from your perspective, from a guy who started on the dance floor, do you hear like these new genres and get them? Or are you just like, word, people like them, so I'll book them?
No, I get them. I get it. And, I had heard we were doing some like dubstep shows because somebody in New Orleans, a DJ called she's Black Swan, and she was saying, hey, this is like the next thing. And I was like, okay, well, I'll listen to it. I was like, oh, this is pretty cool. It's like, it was similar to drum and bass, but not, it was like in the same like vein. Right. So to me, it was like, oh, this is the new drum and bass. Right. And, I think when I first heard like Skrillex is when I was like, oh shit, this is a real thing.
That was everybody when they heard Skrillex. They were like, what the fuck? Let's go.
I did his first, I booked him at a festival. I put him in like Dallas, and it was at the Dallas Convention Center, I think. And his agent was like, hey, I had a festival on there with indoor festival, and the agent was like, hey, can you do me this favor and put this guy on there? And I was like, oh yeah, $1,500, whatever. And I fucking went in that room, and that shit was like going off.
Skrillex for $1,500, dude. Get out of here. Get out of here. Were you serious?
I got it somewhere.
Yeah,
I mean,
right.
Dead Mouse, Cascade, $1,500. I mean, it's like that's a different time too. You had to now these guys come out and they're like $100,000 out of their womb. But yeah, you mean back then you had to like earn your, you had to move up on the ladder. So he was doing a tour. So I saw that, and then he was doing a tour in the spring, and I had him booked at 800 person club. And we booked this kind of like right after like the festival. So this is kind of like January, February. The festival was in October. So, and the club held 800. Well, nobody was really paying attention. And somebody, I was like, well, how's that selling? It was like 2,000 tickets.
Oh,
so we couldn't even fit it in the venue. Yeah. So then I was like, book every, and we were paying like $5,000. And I was like, book every market, every Skrillex show, so, because the agents weren't asking what the ticket count was either.
Yeah.
So we booked every show. I booked like 17 Skrillex shows for $5,000. And then I went to the agent and I was like, hey, we got a problem here. So I moved it to like it was Austin Music Hall. It was a 4,000 cap venue, and they didn't want to move it. And I was like, well, we got a problem because we already sold more tickets than they thought the room was too big, and we ended up moving it to the Austin Music Hall. Sold out 4,000 tickets 4 or 5 days in advance. It was like his first big like coming out party. That was where we were like, oh shit, this guy's gonna be huge.
Was that one of the biggest like electronic musical shifts that you had saw in your professional career?
I think you could say that. I mean, I think we need one now. Or it would be nice to have one now. I don't know if we need one, but I don't know if we're gonna have something like that, like that again. But I would. I mean, look, there's kids out there right now making music in their bedroom. So who knows? There's got to be something. There's got to be something that's gonna move the needle like that again.
Very true.
But that was a fucking huge move.
Yeah. I just remember whenever it was going on, I was just like, I remember getting introduced to it, and everybody I feel like almost everybody I've talked to on this show, when I talk about dubstep, like, yeah, it was whenever Skrillex came in where I really started feeling it, and I was like, what the hell is this, It always seems like the same exact story.
No, I mean, it wasn't that it was dubstep, it was like just the uniqueness of the sound. So, yeah. I mean, he had his own sound. You've had people that have come through that have had like their own sound, and that have moved the needle. But that was like a sea change.
Mm-hmm. Hell yeah, man. Well, look, dude, I have two more for you real quick. Okay, so going back to where it started, where you were, and also to now, what has been the bigger challenge or like the biggest stress factor? You fighting the rave act in the mid 90s, or you throwing the first festival after COVID? Which one do you feel like is the bigger challenge for you?
I think that when I was doing shit, like when I was young and I was like fucking doing shit in warehouses, and we weren't carding people. There's like underage. We were having a bar, and we didn't have any insurance or anything like that. And I just never. I was like, fuck it, I didn't know. I was so young that I didn't understand like what I was risking. I knew I was risking something, but I didn't have anything to lose. And I think now and of course I'm in Time Magazine and Newsweek for the Rave Act stuff, and Peter Jennings, ABC, whatever. That at the time I was like, oh, hey, this is pretty cool. I might go to jail for 20 years. All right, well, that's not so bad. So I don't know. It's hard. I'm older and wiser now, and I have a family, and I know the whole world is watching, and people. When that whole shit went down in 2000, the U.S. the rape scene wasn't that big. It was swinging up, but it was about to go down, and I just feel like this is like. This will be like the most important. If we can pull this one off, it'll be like the most important thing I ever did. And it's not going to make everyone happy. It's going to make It's going to make a lot of people happy. Like that whole industry is like cheering for me. They're telling me, but nobody's fucking coming out and saying it.
Hey,
I'm
saying it right here on this podcast, dude. I'm cheering for you.
I'm like, hey, can somebody say, I can't wait to see you. Everything's going great. I'm like, can you say something? Like, oh no, I don't want to get shit on online.
Tweet that for me.
I gotta do everything. I'm fucking carrying the whole bus on my shoulders here. Like everybody's in except like everybody's afraid, and I get it, but it's like at some point we gotta like somebody's gonna have to come out and say, I'm fucking doing the right thing, and it's gonna be safe, and we're gonna do this, and we're gonna go forward. We're outside. We got masks on.
Yeah.
So, yeah. No, but so I would say what's in front of me now, because I didn't understand what was going on before.
Yeah.
Like jail sounded like, oh, that's not so bad, but what we're about to pull off here is really important.
One thing I did want to touch on that you just mentioned, in that you were talking about the rave culture back then compared to now, and the size differences. Have you noticed? Are you noticing like just a steady climb of the popularity of electronic music, or do you feel like it's kind of capping? Because I feel like a lot of times hip hop will come out with some new artists, and that's like it always feels like whatever the kids are into, whatever the younger people are into, that usually is what is more successful. And I don't know if I see I think my nephew's into dubstep, but like my niece is not. So like I'm trying to figure it out. And from your perspective, what is the climb looking like for you, or what's the growth looking like as far as electronic music going? Because you're the guy who throws all the events, you know what I'm speaking? So I feel like you're a good guy to ask about that.
It's really hard to say. I mean, that in the 90s when I got involved, it was like the cool like people, right? It wasn't. It was like, oh, I'm in a clique, right? I'm in a cool scene here. And as more people started coming in, a lot of the really cool people left because they were like, fuck this. I don't want anybody, I'm not hanging out with these people. I'm going to do something else. And, the scene got really big in the States, in LA, and the market kind of crashed right around like 2001. It was already going down before 9/11. We just didn't know, but they had some big festivals that were coming over from Europe, and they had to cancel them because the ticket sales were low. 9/11 happened. And at the same time, hip hop was coming in like, fucking hard, and we didn't know. We thought we just thought we were gonna keep growing and growing and growing, because if the trajectory of like from 94 to 2000 was just like, it was like on a nonstop up, and the market crashed, and we weren't cool anymore. Like people, I couldn't even tell people I was a rave promoter. It was.
You're like, I booked Nickelback.
That's embarrassing.
In 2001, you're like, I just booked Nickelback.
Yeah, give me some. just give me something else, but not rave promoter. So it was a struggle, like 2002 to 2008. I mean, we were keeping it going, but we weren't like the cool kids on the block. We were like, oh, those people are the ravers, like trash or whatever. So it was definitely some difficult years, some lean years, and we just kept pushing forward. And I was like, oh, it's going to come back. It's going to come back. And then it just blew kind of back up like in 2009 and 10. And we've kind of been on a trajectory. We've had some wobbles. Like in 2016, a lot of festivals did poorly. But it's mostly been going up. I'm interested to see how it's going to look after, because what our main driver is like there's people always leaving. Like we're shedding people. We're shedding people all the time as they get married or as they grow into something else or they find something new. But we've always had an influx of new people coming in, and the influx of that has been it not necessarily. I think the driver on that is it. Some of it is the music that people can find online, but a lot of it is like people going to the shows. So I'm wondering, I want to see, like, after we get through this first hype where everybody wants to go to every show and spend all their stimulus check or whatever, that I want to see if we haven't had that pipeline of new people coming in, and we probably shed a bunch of old people. So I want to see where it balances out in like the next 12 months, because the whole scene could be different.
Damn, that's a damn good point, man.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's a damn good point. I know I got introduced to electronic music at Buku Fest. I went there to go see a band my brother told me to go check out. I ended up seeing like R.L. Grime back-to-back Bauer in 2013, and I was like, what the fuck? This is awesome. You know what I mean? So it's just like that is a thing. People are like, oh, there's a festival going on. We're going to go because it's cool. Oh, shit, this is actually really dope. I'm going to check this out when I get home and go to other shows. Like, that is a damn good point. I feel like a lot of people aren't finding electronic music on the internet. A lot of it is that live experience where they just get introduced to it. I haven't even thought about that. That's a damn good point.
Think about it all. Unfortunately, I read like about 7 newspapers a day. And my friends hate me for it because I tell them all kinds of information that they don't want to hear. And so it's...
Are you one of those guys who are like, yeah, the elitists are out here trying to fuck us in the asshole in front of all their fucking goat-headed friends, Like,
yeah, I just tell people information that they didn't want to know. Yeah. So, and I don't want to know it either, but it's in my head.
Gotcha.
So I talk.
Yeah. Well, look, dude, I have one more question for you, man. And like I said, I cannot thank you enough. I know your time's very valuable. So,
emails are stacking up.
Say that again?
I said these emails are probably stacking up.
Oh, dude, I'm sure you're going to be so behind just from doing 1 hour with me, and I really appreciate it, dude.
I'm just going to take this drink another beer and then this fucking shot in my arm and go pass out.
Yeah, dude.
I want to take a nap.
Pass out with 5G into your arm. Yeah, disco nap. That's what's up, dude.
Feel my arm anymore.
Well, look, James, listen, so there's a lot of people out there who you've inspired, not only as like, the grind. When I see the stuff you've done and you haven't stopped and you have every inclination to stop or chill out, you haven't done. So that's very inspiring to somebody like me who enjoys a grind, who enjoys a challenge, who enjoys the thing that's going to put them in that next level, okay? But there's also a lot of people out there who get inspired by you by events that you throw. There's people out there who get inspired by the events you throw. Maybe that's something they're looking forward to. Maybe some people's aspirations when they get older or whenever they get into a situation where they can do it is to throw a music festival. If you were to sit down and talk to a person who wanted to throw shows, who wanted to throw events and get onto your level, what is that one piece of advice you would give to that person?
For somebody, I would have told them to fucking don't do it. Like if we're talking like 10, 15 years ago, I would say don't fucking try it. But I've seen, you don't want to ruin your life. But I've seen a lot of young promoters come up and in the last 10 years and have been able to do well and carve out their own niche. It's like you kind of got to do your own thing. Don't look at what we're doing. You can carve out your own thing, and if you really love it, and it's not going to be easy, But if you really love it and you feel it and you're part of it, there's no guarantees. But you can be successful. There is a way. And again, I would say that wasn't possible 10 years ago, because nobody was going to fucking book a show in a market that I was in, because it was like the mafia. But now it's like, there's more, it's more open. There's more agents, and their agents are younger. And so I just tell people that want to be a promoter or do something like that, you just gotta try it, and don't give up. It's not gonna be the first. You might not be successful right off the bat, but I think the barrier to entry is a lot lower than it used to be, especially with, you can advertise on Facebook and Instagram and TikTok or whatever. Like, I had to go fucking pass out a flyer to every person, like, who they didn't know what the DJ was or whatever. I had to like sell this show to somebody. Now you can just push a button, put it all out there, advertise it, and you can be successful. It's not going to be overnight. You got to really work at it, and you got to understand that there's a lot of loss. And people like, I want to do a show. I got 10 grand, and they do one show, they lose money, and they're like, oh, I lost my money. I'm out. So you got to like think about long term. Like, you're going to lose. You're going to have a lot of losses. But if you stick with it and try really hard, and you're in it for the right reason, you can possibly make a career out of it.
Mm-hmm. High risk, high reward type of
shit. I didn't do this I didn't get into this to make a career out of it. I just loved it, and I just wanted more people to come.
Yeah.
And then people started offering me money to
come
to promote. No, people started offering me money to promote their shows, and I'm like, I don't want any money. And then they offered it to me, and then they didn't pay me. So I'm like, oh, you fucked me over. I said, I'm gonna do my own shows. So it's just like, welcome to the scene, right? It was like right away, like I got indoctrinated, right? I was just doing it I was taking the flyers from the table. I was passing them out to people. Like, nobody knew who I was or whatever. I was just trying to get more people to come. And somebody offered me money, and they fucked me, and here I am.
Yeah, man, I feel you. All I do is try to make more people come. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to make more people come. Yeah. I'm trying to come more. If everyone would be happier if we're all just coming.
Sweet.
Yeah. Well, look, man,
I don't know.
Oh shit, it's lagging a little bit. Say that again one more time.
No, I didn't say anything. I was gonna say something, but it was probably a bad joke.
Hey, dude, I say bad jokes daily. You know what I'm saying? That's kind of my thing. But yeah, dude, I wanted to thank you one more time, for coming on this show. It's lagging again. It's like I'm getting a feedback. Hold on, you hear me? You hear me?
I hear you.
Okay, cool. Yeah. No, man, I really wanted to thank you not only for coming on the show, but for carving electronic music in this country into the way it is. I mean, I feel like without you, it would look a lot different. Even just, my mentors were people who were influenced and taught by you, and those people taught me a lot whenever I was in fucking bumfuck Mississippi. So, without people like you, there might not be people like me, or there might not be electronic scene like there is today without you. So I just wanted to say thank you, and I hope at UBW, I hope I can shake your fucking hand. And I never told you my name. My name is Mitch. You just know me as TVBOO. I'm Mitch, and I hope I can shake your fucking hand one day.
Oh yeah, I'll be there. You'll be able to find me.
I told y'all, guys. This man is the fucking man. We talk about people who have done shit. He's been there, done that, and then did it again. And then pulled out, aborted it, and then did it once more. You know what I'm speaking? He's the man. He's the fucking man, dude. And I'm so glad he could come on the show. I know it right there at the end was a little choppy because of... I'm going to blame his internet connection. I'm not going to blame myself. I'll blame him. He said blame him on anything anyway, so we're just going to go there. But fuck, dude. What a guy. I loved that conversation. There's sometimes when I do an episode of this podcast where I walk out of the studio and I yell, let's fucking go. Or I'm like, what the fuck? Today's one of those episodes, dude. And man, I can't even imagine the type of stress, the type of pressure, the type of weight that is on this guy at all times. The little things fucking get me fucking pissed off, or weigh on my shoulders. A lot of it's just personal relationship type stuff. But this guy has that, and then that, and then this, and then that. It's like, dude, the fact that this man can hold it together and make shit happen is so inspiring and just so fucking batshit. I'm going to shake this man's fucking hand. And I'm going to tell the story on this podcast when it's over. Not this episode, but after I shake his hand. About shaking that man's hand. I just want to thank him in person, dude. Not for coming on the show, but for everything he's done for the community, everything he's done for, shit, I guess the show too. You know what I mean? And thank him for coming on the show. But I also want to thank y'all for listening. I hope y'all like that. A lot of people don't even know the name Disco Donnie. And that shit blows my mind. Because all these big festivals, these big events, he's usually the fella behind it. And yeah, it takes a big team, but it also takes that leader. He's that feller. Thank y'all for listening. Holy shit. I love y'all. Bye.